So how was the video? Did you like it? Now we are going to see that because we now know that we know the replication, transcription, and the translation process, and now we are going to see how the viruses are going to use those processes in our cell. So you all know probably that what are viruses, right? Do you? So what are viruses? Is it a living organism? Virus is not considered as a living organism. But if it is not a living organism, why it can give us problem when we are infected by the virus? So what contains the virus? Virus, normally there are two types of virus. So virus contains either a DNA. The DNA it can be either double-stranded DNA or the single-stranded DNA, and few proteins that will actually make a code on the DNA. And there is another type of virus that instead of the DNA that contains only RNA and few proteins. So that's all about the virus. So they don't have any cell, they don't have any nucleus, they don't have any cytoplasm, nothing else. It's just the DNA or the RNA and few proteins that will just make a code on those DNA or RNA. So using those DNA, that how they can infect us. So what is going to happen once a virus enters in the living cell? It takes over the host cell and forces it to produce virus copies. So how does it happen? It's very straightforward if it is a DNA virus. So we know that the DNA virus, so if it is inside, if it is getting in the cell, so is the virus DNA. So DNA, virus DNA, that once it is in our cell, our cell, we have all the tools necessary, all the enzymes for DNA synthesis, right? Because we do that one every day for our own purpose. So that viral DNA, now once that is inside our cell, it will use our machinery to synthesize or to copy more DNA, to produce more DNA. Once they have the DNA, their own DNA, and again, because they can use our own machinery, so virus DNA can copy to more virus DNA, and more virus DNA then can give us the viral RNA using the same. So this is the replication process that we learned. This is the transcription process. And after having the viral RNA, they can also use our ribosome to synthesize the protein. So they can do now the translation. Translation to synthesize protein. Now to have a virus, what we needed? We needed at the beginning, the virus was just the DNA and some few protein. So that protein will be synthesized here. Now they have the copied DNA, lots of DNA, and lots of protein, so they can round it up and make the virus entity. So number of virus can come out from one cell, then infect the next cell and do the same process. So that is very straightforward for the for the DNA virus. But what about the RNA virus? So now we can think about the RNA virus. That is little different. RNA virus. AIDS virus, HIV virus are the RNA virus. Or sometimes we call them the retrovirus. This type of virus we also call them retrovirus. So RNA virus, once they are getting inside, I have a figure actually. This figure. So here is the virus, and this is the RNA, and this is the capsid protein that actually making the code on the RNA that can get inside our cell. Once it is inside our cell, it releases the RNA. In our body, remember we can do this type of thing. In our body, our cell is equipped to DNA to RNA. We cannot go from RNA to DNA because that is the reverse process. Because we don't have that specific enzyme. We have enzyme for this one to make the transcription from DNA to RNA. We have the RNA polymerase that can catalyze that reaction, but we don't have another enzyme that can do the reverse process from the RNA to the DNA. But now the RNA virus needs that kind of thing, that because it needs the DNA to replicate or to produce more virus cells. So what it can do? That this RNA virus, they contain their own enzyme that we call is the reverse transcriptase. That type of enzyme. So reverse transcriptase, they release the reverse transcriptase along with the RNA. And that reverse transcriptase can continue this process, RNA to DNA. So we don't have the reverse transcriptase in our cell, but virus bring that reverse transcriptase in our cell. So once the reverse transcriptase and the RNA, we have now other machinery in our cell that can be used. Using the reverse transcriptase, then the mRNA will now produce a single-strand DNA. Once the single-strand DNA is there, that's the viral DNA, single-strand, now it will produce the complementary sequence. Complementary sequence will make a double-stranded DNA. Now we have the complete viral DNA in our body. The dangerous parts here for the HIV virus, that DNA virus, it actually gets inside the chromosome in our body and take control on our chromosome. That is the dangerous part for the HIV virus. But the other RNA virus, they just keep the double DNA, but they do not interfere with our DNA. But the HIV virus DNA, that actually get insert to our DNA, so it becomes the part of our own DNA. And then what happens after the double-stranded DNA? So now if you have the double-stranded DNA, it can be done anything, because now you have all the gene here that can be asked to synthesize more RNA, right? And the RNA for the protein, RNA for this RNA. So number of RNA can be produced. RNA itself for the viral RNA and the RNA for the protein synthesis, all can be synthesized. And the RNA that is responsible for the protein synthesis, that will create more protein, and the RNA that will make this kind of circle. We can imagine that now the RNA is inside that capsid protein, and then it can come out from our cell. Now it is ready to infect another cell. So they are capable of using our own machinery, but they don't have their machinery, and that's why the virus is so dangerous. And now you can imagine, can you think that how you can control this RNA virus? Any drug, any kind of drug will help us. Like you can think, okay, we can use some drug that will kill that virus, destroy that virus. If we use that type of drug, that will destroy us also, because we have the RNA, right? So we cannot specify any drug that will just destroy the virus RNA, not our RNA. So that's why it's very tough to control any disease that is created by the virus. We don't have any kind of antibiotic to control the virus, whether it is RNA or the DNA virus. We cannot control by the antibiotic. Antibiotic only effective on the bacteria, because bacteria is the living cell, so we can kill it in a different way. But here, because they use our own machinery, if we control that, then our system is stopped. Then we cannot work properly, right? So how can we control? So there are a number of ways that is scientists are trying. Like one of the ways that I mentioned. These are the two known inhibitors for the HIV virus. One is the AZT, and this one is the 3TC. Here is the difference. You can see. Instead of the hydroxy group, here is the azide group. And here, instead of the hydroxy group, the sulfur, instead of the carbon, there is a sulfur group. So what happened when, remember, we have the RNA transcriptase, that the RNA to the DNA, when the viral DNA is going to be transcribed from the RNA, through the reverse transcription, instead of taking the, what is that? This one, this base. Can you recognize? This is what? Thymidine. So that thymidine will be taken. This one, they think that they are taking the thymidine base, so they put that one in their DNA sequence. But look at that DNA sequence, it does not contain the OH group. Once that is in their DNA sequence, they cannot function properly. So this is one of the way, and this is the so far the best way to stop the AIDS virus or the HIV virus by these two inhibitors. But the problem is with the HIV virus that they can change themselves so rapidly. So the enzyme that is taking this one, forcefully they can change their enzyme so that they can recognize that what this is not their appropriate substrate. So the virus, they can throw the, once they cannot fight, they change themselves and then they produce the next generation virus. And then we have to also think about the next generation drug. So the fighting will be continuous with the human and the virus. It's not going to be stopped. Otherwise, we produce some kind of vaccine. Because vaccine is that it can fight with the, like our immune system can fight with the virus itself. We don't need the outside drug to treat it. So that's all from this chapter, and probably we are going to have